Hello my lovelies, I hope you're all doing so well and welcome back to my channel. As you can see from the title, I have another dupe video for you guys. I decided that it was probably about time that I talked about the dupe I have for the Naked 2 palette. So for those of you who would love the neutral nude tones of this palette but don't want to spend the £37 or $52 depending on where you're from, I have a palette for you at bargain price, and I was so surprised whenever I found it. I could not believe how similar this actually was. So without further ado, I will show you what I'm talking about. This is the W7 in the Buff palette, and this is the eyeshadows. You see what I mean? So in terms of quality, yes, the Urban Decay ones are probably longer lasting, but I have to say this palette cost me £6 including postage, and I absolutely love it. It is a metal tin. There isn't a mirror in it, but that's okay. Let's face it, 9 times out of 10, if we're not in the house and we're somewhere else, we have a compact mirror on something else. So it's not like it's a massive deal not to have a mirror here. And if it really was, well, I mean, I'm sure you could get a mirror that you could stick to it. You know, just an idea. So anyway, a couple of differences are the likes of there is no names on the front as there is in the Naked palette. They are on the back, so if you're looking for names it's a wee bit more awkward. So say you're going along 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What's this one? Ow! What's this one called? So then you have to go along the back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it's called Topaz. But in terms of the colours, they're really quite similar. For example, let's go for the blacks. We have Blackout, which is the Urban Decay version, and Onyx, which is the W7 version. Now you can see that the Urban Decay version is more pigmented. It is a lot darker. So I mean, whenever you look at the pigmentation difference, okay, so the Urban Decay version over here is a lot blacker, but that's okay because it's buildable. And I would have to say, once you start blending them, there really isn't that much difference, to be honest with you. It's just on first swipe, and let's face it, we don't just plonk a load of black down without blending. So once you start blending it in, the Onyx one from W7 is buildable, so there really probably isn't that much difference. So what I'm actually going to do, rather than just sit and show you all of these, rather than just talk about them and show you swatches, I'm going to do a look on my eyes using both of these palettes, one on one side of my face and one on the other, and then we can see just how different they actually are. I'm going to use Iced Mocha by NYX just as a base, I think. lovely, so I have done the eye look. Isn't quite what I thought I was going to come out with, but I had fun playing with it anyway. One thing I will say, the Urban Decay one, as much as I love it, there is a lot of fallout with it, so whenever you're using it, I always recommend leaving your foundation to the end, because you're going to have to do a lot of cleanup work underneath, especially because they do have a habit of using a lot of shimmer in their products. So I now have a lot of shimmery product under here from both of the products to wipe off. So any foundation that I had under there is now gone. So anyway, the colours that I used in this, I started off with this bronzy colour here, which is Booty Call. I also used, Chopper. I started off with Chopper. On the main part of my eyelid, I used Booty Call as the highlight colour, which is probably a wee bit too pinky and shimmery for underneath your eyebrow for most day looks. I would go for something a wee bit more lighter and less shimmery. I also used these last three colours, which is YDK, Busted and Blackout. Really, really nice colours. I did like them. The Blackout was really pigmented, but a heck of a lot of fallout, especially whenever I did the lower lash line. There was just too much. I had to wipe the majority of it away. So that is a downside to the Urban Decay, but other than that, it is extremely blendable. It is really easy to put looks together with it. I mean, as you can see, I really like this. There's a lot of bronze, shimmery sort of look to it, but it's still really smoky as well. Moving on to the Dupe product. As much as the colours, I mean, looking at it, they're very, very similar, but you will notice there's a difference on the outer corner, and the main reason for that is because it isn't as easy to blend these colours in as the other one. I have to say that would be the biggest comparison to them. Is Urban Decay are so blendable, so workable, whereas the In the Buff palette isn't just as easy to work with once you've put it on. It is quite hard to sort of mix the colours in, and as you saw, I sort of did a wing out and then tried to blend it all in, but you can still really see that harsh line along here, whereas it's not just as harsh on the Urban Decay side. But colour wise, they are fairly similar. They do seem, looking at the Urban Decay side, it is more shimmery, it is more, yeah, there's more of a glow to it, more shimmer to the Urban Decay side than there is to the In the Buff. It would be a more muted sort of colour, but I mean, you can sort of see that whenever you do the swatches of them, I think, anyway. Although, I mean, looking at that there, you can see that there is such a sheen to the Urban Decay one compared to the In the Buff by W7, but I have to say they're both really gorgeous colours in their own right. Really, really beautiful. I do think that I come up with two really good eye looks. Very, very similar. This one is just a wee bit more harsh, a wee bit deeper, because I didn't get to blend it just as much as the Urban Decay side. So anyway, my darlings, if you're looking for a product like the Naked 2 palette but can't afford to spend the £37 or $52 wherever you are in the world, I recommend checking out W7's In the Buff. I got mine on, I think it was Amazon, for £6, and that was probably including the postage. I'm sure it was. Okay, my lovelies, so, you know, in terms of dupe wise, the In the Buff palette for £6 is a really, really fantastic dupe for this Naked 2 palette. I have to say that I would highly recommend, if you can't afford to get the Naked 2. In fact, even if you can afford to get the Naked 2, it's a really good product, the In the Buff palette. It, you know, it's just not as blendable. That would be the biggest thing that I can see the difference in. Otherwise, although the shades are slightly different, it is as close a dupe as I have ever seen to a Naked 2 palette. So anyway, as I said, if you don't want to spend the £37, $52, whatever, on a Naked 2 palette, get yourselves online, or to a shop that you know sells W7 products. If you're in the UK, I don't think we have any shops over here. I bought mine on Amazon for £6. Honestly guys, well worth trying out. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this dupe. So I am looking for other palettes that are similar, that are dupes of the 1, 2 and 3, and even the basics palette as well, because let's face it, we all want gorgeous neutral colours, but we can't always afford to spend £37 on a palette every time they bring one out. So it's really nice to see other companies have something that's really similar, good quality, not just the same price tag though. So anyway guys, I hope you've enjoyed this. Let me know in the comments below what you thought. Have you got either of these palettes and what do you think of them? Anyway guys, I will see you all next time. Love yous, bye!